What's going on, people? How's everybody? Who do we got in here today? Roll call. Hey, good evening, everybody. Always a pleasure to have everybody. Who do we got in here? Hey, Timmy, what's up? John, how you doing? Mr. Harper. Hey, Mr. Beecham. Hey, Mr. Tom, how are you? Good. Debbie, how you doing? Randall, what's going on? Mr. Bradley, what's up, my friend? Awesome. Pavak, how you doing? Good. Everybody ready to learn? Cool. Good. All right. Just a couple cleanups here. Hey, Austin, how you doing? So hopefully everybody was in class yesterday. If you missed yesterday's class, don't worry. In the next, maybe a week or two, I'll make sure to get the recording out to everybody so that you can rewatch it and, get up on your way and get your learn on. You'll probably need to watch this stuff a few times sometimes to do it. Not because the actual material is any difficult than anything else, but if you're just brand new to trading, then setting up your charts and what indicators to use, all of that can be so mind-boggling in the beginning. And we're here to help you with all that stuff, of course. But that sometimes takes you a little bit of time. But we'll be there to support you, and I'll make sure to get a recording out in the next couple of weeks. That way, you guys will have it. Most likely, it'll just be emailed to everybody when I get it all dolled up and ready. And so, give me a little bit of time once when we put on these webinars, we get everybody working on the webinar, and then after everybody's like, whew, it's done, and then we'll have to get the video together. But I'll make sure to get everybody out one. That way you can rewatch it today, because frankly, we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about, man. What a market we are in. Did anybody trade today? Give me just a holler. Who was trading today? Good. Oh, okay, Sam, awesome. Austin, good. Anders, awesome. Mr. Justin, good. Cool. So a lot of you guys are already trading, so you understand that we're in a really special market. It's been pretty fun. Tons of opportunity, but also tons of risk, because obviously when things are getting wild, they can come crashing down too. And so the patterns that we're going to learn today are good, because you can use some of them for like longer term plays, and then some of them for that short term play, those quick momentum bursts. Malcolm, I don't have the video yet. We haven't finished class, so the video for the classes haven't been put together. They will soon though. Give me like a week or so. You know how it goes, man. We got everybody working on the webinar right now. The recording is the least of our worries at the moment, because I got to finish this class, and then we'll worry about where the replay is. But everybody will get the replay going. All right? So cool. So now let's talk about this. What's our agenda for today? We got a 2-day agenda. As you know, yesterday we spent a lot of time fixing up our charts and fixing up how to get everything going on indicators and time frames and what stocks that we like to trade. Now today, we're going to be talking about a few different things. Number one, morning routine for scanning for day trades, okay? A lot of people think that to learn how to trade stocks, you got to sit there and do like hours of research and hours of this, and this to get ready for the market. And that's not the case. If you know what you're hunting for, like which specific plays, which specific patterns, then using technology, you can really fine tune exactly what you need to do. So we'll talk a little bit about the scanning routine that I've used for a very long time. We'll look at the future outlook for the cannabis sector, and then we'll talk about how to use a couple very simple strategies on how to trade these things, and then of course making the twist for third quarter earnings plays. All right? Oh, here, man, I'm like on my third webinar today. I'm losing my voice. I've been on the tube. I get on the tube with my students 7:30 in the morning, so I've been barking all day. I'm trying to get some tea to loosen me up. It wouldn't be so bad if I didn't just shout all the time. Now, don't go anywhere. At the end, we'll do a question and answer. I'll make sure to answer everybody's questions. If you're asking questions during the webinar, I may not see it. So at the end, I'll kind of ask everybody if they have any questions. If you don't get your question answered, it's never intentional. It just means I didn't see it, but I will. And I'll make sure to answer, of course, at the end. I can outlast all you guys. You guys can ask questions till midnight and I can still take it down. So for those of you guys that are brand new, I'm Kunal. I'm the head janitor of this place. I've been running this business now since 2008. So, I mean, I was a young hip guy at the time, and now I'm like more of a middle-aged hip guy. But we're still having fun doing this thing. It's been a wild ride the last 10 years doing this. I've been speaking all over the world. If any of you guys are in Las Vegas or San Diego, I got 2 speaking events next month over there. So if you're around in those areas, man, I'd love to buy you a beer, chat about the markets, whatever. I've literally had hundreds of students literally just stay at my house over the years. We do summer boot camps, which is like, anybody ever watch the show Salute Your Shorts? It's literally like that. I pile everybody into the place over here, and it's like a big giant bro sleepover, and it's pretty fun. And, you know, it's obviously trading related, but it's pretty cool. So I've been teaching people for a long time, and we're going to be learning a little bit of my strategy, which is a momentum-based strategy based really on events. You know, we trade a lot of events, meaning like we like to trade momentum, sector momentum. So wherever the momentum is, that's where you're going to find me. If it's in weeds, it's in shippers, it's in pharmaceuticals, it's in oil stocks, wherever the action is, that's where you will find me and my team going to try to figure out how to extract return out of there. So we got a couple cool strategies I use to do that. Now, whoa. As you guys know, I've had this thing for a while. Chat room alerts, that's all the stuff that we do. We've been offering our 60-day boot camp now for the last 6 years. I'm on boot camp 39 that's starting up. So it's pretty cool. We've done a lot of them. So I've got a unique ability to take people that don't have any experience trading and teach them the ropes because, well, now I've had 39 shots at figuring it out, how to get people to learn this stuff. And so it's pretty cool teaching people from all over the world. I've got students literally in Malaysia and Japan and the whole works there. So problems that we're going to look to solve today, how to find the best stocks, right? Because this is stuff that new people don't know. How to find the best stocks. You're only as good as the stocks you trade. My mentor used to tell me that, meaning that if you apply momentum techniques to stocks that aren't going to move, then you have a mismatch there and you're probably going to go nowhere with your trades. Most people have really a lot of trouble in the beginning knowing how to enter the stocks at the right time. Somebody had just mentioned on this chat right now, he goes, man, I was playing cron yesterday and I got crushed end of day because it just dumped out of nowhere, right? So knowing how to enter at the right time, but then also exit at the right time is going to be really, really huge. For those of you guys that are not familiar with risk management principles, always use a stop loss on every single trade that you take, meaning when you buy something, you put a physical stop loss under it. That way that if the stock dumps, you know, the computer will essentially sell you out of your position and you don't have to sit there and take a big loss. I very rarely risk more than a few $100s to maybe $1,000 on a trade. Never try to do more than that because I want to make thousands of dollars on a trade, but I don't want to risk thousands of dollars because then it doesn't match up, right? You're just at a casino. I made 2,000, lost 2,000. What we want to do is, right, make 1,000 but risk 200 or risk 300, and that's going to be really huge. The other part that people have a lot of trouble with that we'll talk about today is knowing the right time to exit your positions. Anybody ever like you bought a stock, it was awesome, things were going great, and then the thing just completely turned around and you gave back all your profits? Anybody ever do that? I used to do that all the time when I was brand new. Right? You're up and then you're not up, right? I got a good friend of mine. He's like a cryptocurrency trader. You guys probably see I have cryptocurrency charts in the background. I'm always watching crypto charts. I love trading cryptocurrency also. The strategies that I use, you can use them in cryptocurrency and so many other things. Like I had a good student of mine, knowing when to sell is always huge. I had a good student of mine, well, he's a student of mine now, but this came after the fact. He had, when this Ripple was like 20 cents, he had like 100,000 shares of this thing, 20 cents. And it went up and had all these like nice patterns. It went up to $3.40. So at the time, I mean, what, 100,000 times 340, right? He's up almost $350,000. Pretty cool, especially considering, right, that, his investment was like 20 G's. But you know what happened? Like, he called me up. So after he takes our class now in this last boot camp. But as this thing started to turn, he froze and he let this thing come all the way back to 30 cents. Right? So this thing got all the way down, I think 20 cents again. He got back to 20 cents again. So his 100,000 shares were worth $26,000. Then they were worth 400, and now once again they're worth 26,000. And so knowing when to exit your positions and how to manage a win is also really important. And then, of course, I think lifetime support is going to be always key to trading, because this is not a one-off game. So like trading, guys, if you think about it, it's a job, right? It's a profession. It's no different than being a doctor or a lawyer, an accountant, an engineer, a baseball player, whatever. It's a job. And so there's always, when you go through a job, right, there's specific things that you need to do. There's a specific sequence of events that need to happen before you're actually good at your job. And a lot of that requires teaching and mentorship. And then, of course, having a community of people that help you stay on top of market trends, right? Having lifetime access to teaching is important, but having real life teaching of people that are actually in the market is one of the most important things we do. So let's talk a little bit about scanning. I'm going to show you my morning routine first, and then what we'll do is talk about the software and what type of scans to run. That's going to be really, really important. So usually for me, I'm not one of them early risers. I know, like, for you guys, anybody here like a really early riser, like a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock type of guy? My business coach Ben wakes up at 3:30 in the morning. It's fucking nuts. John's at 4:30. Okay. What else? Anybody else early riser? Brian Bradley, early risers. Mr. Goodwin, 6. Fair time. Cool. 5 a.m. Jesus, you guys are little go-getters, all right? So there's all these studies that show, like, really successful historical people are like usually early risers. I am not. I am not. I'm a night owl. My brain is just wired that way. I do my best work at night. I like to relax. I like to just have the peace and quiet of not having anybody around. So usually I'm up like a couple hours before the market. Now, I don't personally get to the computer like hours before the market to start looking at stocks, okay? I've always actually found that to be a detriment to study that long before the market opens. Does anybody know why you don't want to spend like hours and hours before the market opens staring at your watch list? Anybody have an idea why you wouldn't want to do that? Good, Richard. Good, K-Grass. So what Richard K-Grass saying is, when you sit there, say you get to the computer at 6 o'clock in the morning and the market opens at 9:30, right? So you get to the computer at 6:30 and you're watching like these stocks and you're sitting there and doing this and doing that. And like, you've got like this, you've got this plan and then you're staring at it for hours, okay? Well, what typically happened to me when I would do that is I would become emotionally invested and biased into the stock. I would start to believe that this stock is a good stock, right? Like, man. And then, so what happens when you trade the market, you've been staring at the stock forever. It's like your buddy, right? So it starts going down, costing you money. You're supposed to be cutting it. But because you've been staring at the stock for so long, you start to believe like, oh, it's a good company. Oh, they make good money, right? And you start thinking about all the good things and you start looking for other people too that think like that. And so you get a bias on it that you won't want to cut it. So like in trading, it's cold-blooded, right? If the trade doesn't work, you just cut it, right? You're in, don't work, cut. And that's the way you got to go. And so when you put too much time sitting there thinking about it, it's no good, right? And so what I like to do is spend time like just getting myself ready for the day to be on the hunt but not necessarily sitting there on the computer, right? There are a lot of things that you can do in the morning to really get yourself right? Trading is just a mental game. It's, can you get your brain to click the buttons at the right time, right? Anybody, sometimes you know what buttons to click and you still don't do it, right? You make trading mistakes that you know you're not supposed to make. So a big part of your morning's got to be really getting out and about and getting yourself ready for the day. So for me, like, I like to go for a walk in the morning, right? Just cruise around, listen to a little music, right? Walk around on the beach. And you know what? Once you put your toes in the sand a little bit, you're in a much better mood. I cruise right back, have a cup of coffee, and then I start my morning class. I get on the computer like 45 minutes before the market opens. I start walking the students through the game plan for the day, and then it's good to go. I like to do my homework at night. So that's going to be important. So in the morning, as you get to the computer, first thing you want to do is go through your nighttime homework. So I'm going to show you how to make a quick watch list and sectors and different things like that. So you want to start going through those and start to prune your list, right? So at night, when I do my homework, I might have like 15, 20 names on my watch list. Well, in the morning, the market might be opening strong or it might be opening weak. And so I need to start pruning my watch list. I really want to get it down to like 5 or 6 of my favorite names. Otherwise, it just becomes paralysis by analysis, right? You're watching so many stocks and you don't necessarily know like what's going on. And so then it's just like a big clusterfuck and you end up like the market opens, you got all these stocks running around and you miss all your plays. I then go through my gapper list, which is like my earnings list, looking for news. And then once the market opens, I'm looking for very, very specific setups. So for me, this is kind of how it works in the morning. So we use TC2000, right? So TC2000 is like our charting platform. So we spent some time on this thing yesterday, right? And then this is my trading platform on the right side where I would be clicking in your homework, my homework. So at night, I run scans for momentum. And I search for like specific patterns and things like that based on daily charts. So the first scan I run is a liquid gainer scan. So this will be right on your TC2000. I built it in for those of you guys that are coming into boot camp class on the 25th, and I have not sent you your scans yet. Put in your email and your phone number, and I'll make sure to get those to you tonight. I was sending a bunch of people them yesterday, so I got through mostly everybody. So if you're coming into class on the 25th, make sure you put your name, phone number. I'll get you the scans and all like the technology so yours just looks like mine. But the first scan that I'm going to be running in the morning is a liquid gainer scan. So liquid gainer scan is essentially just a scan looking for like pure momentum along with a handful of factors like expanding volume, range, things of that nature. And then I kind of weight it by different prices. So one of the things that I'll be doing as I go through my liquid gainer scan is I start hunting for momentum stocks, things that I think fit specific patterns that I would want to trade. So like what kind of patterns would you guys think, anybody would want to trade? So what we trade, we have different patterns we trade. So I have 18 different patterns that I like to trade. On the swing trading side, there's like 6 that I really like. So when I say swing trading, that means your daily charts. So when you scan and make your watch list, what you want to be doing is hunting for specific trading patterns. And then also, we want to be hunting for momentum. So this will show up on your liquid gainer scan, right? So what are some different patterns that we can trade on the daily chart for those guys that have been with me for a while? You have flat top breakouts, flags, which we'll learn today. What else? What else could you be doing? Pullback trades, like pullbacks to moving averages, pullbacks to support levels, and these are just daily, on your daily. Intraday, we have a whole different list of patterns that we would use also. But when we run scans at night, we're only looking for what happens on the daily chart. We're looking for stocks with pure momentum and then also specific patterns, okay? So I'll be hunting for momentum. So this was like a stock I traded today on a day trade basis, right? And like, so something like this has got a lot of momentum. You can see like it's starting to break levels of resistance. So like I would probably flag this and put it on my watch list for tomorrow. Then tomorrow, as it's on my watch list, right, I would be looking for specific intraday patterns to get through it. Something like an ORB, a quick pullback buy, different patterns that we're going to learn today. And then what pattern did we learn yesterday? So like today I made $500 off this AWSM. What pattern did we learn yesterday that you guys could have all taken to get in this bad boy? What was our pattern we learned yesterday on a day trade basis? Good, right? What did we learn yesterday? VWAP. Good, Nick. Kudos to you. Good, Mr. Sorensen. Awesome. We learned the VWAP bounce yesterday. The VWAP bounce is, right, your pure momentum strategy that we like to use during the middle of the day. So like today I did the same pattern, right, that we learned yesterday. So like this AWSM had a big push in the morning, right? You saw this thing go from 7 to 10, right? So, and this is also a trade you could have taken at the open, probably about 756. I missed the opening run because I was looking at some other stocks. But as this thing, when you get down to about 12 o'clock, right, we want to start looking for that steeper pullback. So as this thing started to pull back from 1075 down to that VWAP area, we want to start looking for it to potentially go long. Now, we don't just buy when it tests the VWAP area, right? Because if it did that, you know, we'd just all be rich. Something touched the VWAP, you would buy it, right? We need a little bit of confirmation. So what we need to do is wait for a green candle to hold, right? So we got a green candle to hold. Now we know that this low is going to hold, and we can play this thing to the upside. And now you can get into this thing for its end of day run. So it's just a very specific pullback trade to get in. So like this AWSM had a lot of momentum today. Probably it should have a continuation even tomorrow. So I'll put it on my list looking to potentially do some day trades on it. So then we got like this PYX, right? This thing was hot today, right? Big 27% gainer. This is a stock we've been watching for a while too. They also kind of spread some rumors around that they're about cannabis or whatever, but big push, right? It had like a $6, $7 range. So, you know, this could be a potential one. This HAD was another stock that I actually personally traded today. It had a lot of momentum, 26%. So like what I start to do is on TC2000, by the way, if you got yours up, right? If you hit F, it flags a stock. So what we want to be doing is I'm just flipping through these things on the daily chart, right? Looking for that momentum. If I like something, I just hit F and it puts it on a list. Easy enough, right? And so what we want to do is start building out a list of different stocks that have momentum, but that also fit the patterns that I'm going to be trading, okay? The same thing, once I'm done with my liquid gainer stock, I start looking for reverse momentum stocks too, things that I might be able to short. So I start flipping through these, looking for specific patterns that I might be able to use short. So like say something like this though. Remember how we talked about resistance? How many times do you need to test resistance for a level to be real? 3 times, right? We talked about that. Supports are the same way. When you have a level that's been tested like numerous times, over and over and over, awesome, Justin. When you have a support that's been tested like numerous times, over and over and over, when you finally break below, what can happen is the stock can flush down. So like this THO, this could be something I could potentially short tomorrow. If it gets below this trend line, then what I'm going to have is a potential flush on it. And so that's awesome, right? So that's something I can flag and put on my watch list. So I want to go through my different scans looking for a few potential longs, but then also a few potential shorts. And I want to start to build out my list. And it's all just based on patterns, right? So we're hunting for X amount of patterns. And that's going to be easy. Now, the cool thing about TC2000 is that like a lot of these scans, even during the day, you can run them. You can stream them. And so like you can run scans for anything. right? So like you got different scans and stuff. Anything that you want to look for, you can run a scan for. Trend intensity, oversold, overbought, run up too fast. Anything you can think of, you can build out in there. And it's really easy. You just can make conditions. So like you can either write formulas, or you can literally just, take the conditions that they already have and start to put in like parameters. And then next thing you know, you have yourself a scan. Now, like for me and my students, we typically just run really simple scans based on momentum and a handful of patterns. That way, the stuff that we're looking for just pops up, and it's consistently popping up. You let the software do the work, but then we have to sit there, right, and make sure that we're entering at the right price, and that we're, of course, managing our risk, which is going to be the most important thing that we do. So this is like something that you're going to be doing at night to get ready for the day. Now, once you have your watch list, in the morning, we want to hunt for earnings plays, gappers. What are the hot moves on news that just came out? So I use a company called Trade Ideas, and you can run like all these kind of different scans on them. So like Trade Ideas is pretty cool. So Trade Ideas, like in the morning, you can run a scan and it will show you all the stocks that are moving up pre-market. So like it just starts to pop up. And so it just starts showing you like all these different stocks that are moving pre-market. Usually something that moves pre-market has earnings out or some type of PR out. The reason you want to trade stuff that has earnings out, post-earnings or post-PR, is that stocks that have a fundamental catalyst, like some type of news, like earnings, PR, maybe they've got a contract signed, maybe they got an FDA approval on a new drug. These are the drivers. These type of news pieces are the drivers for what can make stocks go nuts. So like if you're looking at technical analysis alone, yeah, you draw some lines in a chart, maybe it's going to go up 5 or 6%, right? But if you can couple your technical analysis with a stock that had news out, then it's pretty good. Like this NBIV had some news out, right? That they were going to put marijuana in Coca-Cola or something, right? Like the weirdest fucking news around, but that's what they said they're going to do, right? So cannabis stock surge on Coca-Cola eyes this company. Who knows? It's probably all bullshit. All small cap stocks are scams for the most part. You run them up and then they come back down. So you never marry this stuff, right? It's more of just a Friday night delight. So like this thing had news out. It was sitting there at $1, right? We've been trading this bad boy. It hit $10 today. So it's not going to just hit $10 because of technical analysis, right? That fundamental piece of news drives it. And then we use the technicals to align our entries and exits on a day trading basis. So on your charts, for those of you guys that have your TC2000, remember, you don't have to use TC2000. You can use Thinkorswim, FinViz. There's a million of them. Always have your daily chart on the left, your 5-minute chart on the right. So now what's going to happen is, okay, so this stock shows like a gap in the morning. So it'll show up on your Trade Ideas, right? Then once that happens, I'm going to make a list of gappers, right? So I'm going to add it in. So I've got a list here, like different stocks that have earnings out and gappers. And so I start adding them to a particular list. So you'll see like Alt and RHT and NBEV and so on and so forth. So all the stocks that I think have like interesting earnings news, based on the price action, I'm going to add it on. Now, I don't just add any stock that's going to gap. Okay, that would be crazy. There's hundreds of them every day. What we want to do is go through them, and the only stocks that have the gaps, like see this kind of gap, see this? It goes from 4 and opens at 550. So the gap is like 25%. The only ones that you want to trade are the ones that are actually breaking out over levels of resistance. So you're looking for stocks that are having like big breakouts over levels. And it doesn't have to just be small cap stocks. I actually do majority of my trading on like regular stocks. But like you'll see like stocks like this too, right? You'll see $100 stocks too. They'll have like these big gaps. And then that day, like they'll just keep going up. Because if it's a breakout on its daily chart, then it's in a supply-free zone. There's no level of resistance, and these things can really, really start to fade off. And so it becomes pretty damn cool. So I want to build a list of all of these different stocks that are gapping up. Following along so far? Good, good, good. Kevin, are you on TC2000? I can show you how to split the chart. So if you go on TC2000 and you hit a chart, and so like you have chart templates. So like I just have a 5-minute chart here. So I have a template for this. What you do is you just hit this button in the corner and put move. And then see, you can like swap it or tab it or, you know, do whatever. But like if you just hit the arrow, now it'll be in the corner. Make sense? Cool. The other thing you can do on the TC2000 is they'll have other like kind of just templates here that you can use. So, you know, hit me up if you have any questions on that stuff. So Nick is asking a question like, what's a supply-free zone? Well, one of the things that happens like when you're looking at a stock, like a supply-free zone means if a stock has never been at a particular area. So like say this stock breaks out of this resistance right here, right? So you got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. Remember what we learned yesterday? It takes 3 tests of resistance to break highs. So you're going to break highs over here. That's awesome. But now what happens is if you look at the chart, if the stock has never been up here before, right? There's like no price action there, no candles, nothing. Then that's a supply-free zone. There's no old sellers up there that are waiting to get their money back. There's no level of supply up there because nobody's actually ever been there, Nick, right? And so it's like a vacuum. It just sucks up the stock. That's why stocks that break out to all-time highs, even stocks that are like really, really expensive, same type of thing. Like you can be even a company like an Amazon, and you could break out to all-time highs, like out of a big consolidation, and there's just no, right? There's no level of price that's ever been above, and so it just sucks it up. And so that's actually a very big, interesting concept that's been around for a long time. But that's how you kind of see stocks that like you're like, fuck, this thing's been, you know, it seems to just always be running. That's one of the reasons. So that's just something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. Stocks that break out to all-time highs can be really, really powerful. So now we got these gappers. Now, one of the things with gappers to really think about is that not only are we looking for the ones that move to the upside so that we can day trade. I'm going to show you the day trading pattern, so don't worry about that. I'm going to show you a couple of these bad boys. So not only do they break to the upside, but we want to find out the ones that are gapping down. What are the stocks that are having bad news out? Because guys, bad news, whoo, right? A stock has bad news. Those type of stocks, they fall a lot faster than they go up, right? Because when the stock has bad news, for every seller, there must be a buyer. So if nobody wants to buy the thing, the stock just goes in a free fall, and it's just like a waterfall effect all the way down. That's why like in recessions or when the market's tanking, the market can drop so viciously because to have a trade, say the whole world wants to sell this stock, right? You got 1 million sellers and there's only 2 buyers, but 1 million people want to sell this thing. There's only 2 buyers. What are those 1 million people going to do to get out of their shares? It's just like a garage sale, right? You keep lowering your price and lowering your price and lowering your price till somebody is going to take it. And that's how the market is when the market's falling. So we want to be looking also for down gappers, right? So always start hunting through these things to see like, okay, which ones of these are gapping down? So, you know, like something like I just saw one of my students trade this though today. So this was on our gapper list today. So, you know, we'll talk about this pattern in a bit, but you know, when a stock gaps down like this, see how it was at 106 and then gapped down to 98? So like at the open, if you know, you go sideways for, you know, X amount of candles, you know, you can take a trade, you know, based on the opening range, and it's just a quick trade, but you can come and take it for a short and bet on the stock to go down, and you can catch like these really nice flushes in stocks. And so that becomes really important. Like you could do this on all different types of stocks. It's kind of cool. So we always want to look for down gappers too. because those ones are going to be, man, they're the funnest to play. That's my favorite personal setup, is finding stocks that are gapping down and then shorting them when you get an ORB pattern. So, you know, all the scans that you need and stuff, guys, if you're coming into class next week, just let me know. I'll make sure to get them to you. So let's talk a little bit about why pot stocks are good. What's the formula? We talked about this, and it doesn't have to be pot stocks. It can be anything with hot momentum. But what's the formula that you need for like 100% winners, like big momentum thrusts, right? Stocks that could move up that much. Number one, you need that hot daily chart, right? A pattern, some type of pattern, a flat top breakout, a pullback, some type of daily pattern. We'll learn one today, and we learned one yesterday, right? We were talking about pullback patterns yesterday, right? That's a hot pattern. We need to see expanding volume, high on a relative basis. Number three, float. Low float means, a lower float means what? That there's a limited amount of supply in a stock, and the lower the supply of shares, the more explosive it can be. So like a stock like a TLRY has a 16 million share float. So if there's only 16 million shares available in the whole world, and then think about this, only 16 million shares available in the whole world, and 30 million need to be bought, what's going to happen? The stock is just going to go nuts, right? Imagine that 30 million shares need to be bought, but there's only 16 around. Well, then what happens, guys, is that everybody's competing with each other over and over, and that's how price gets so nutty. So imagine that, you know, like we were trading this MBEV today. So let's talk about like this MBEV. So this thing is, we were trading this MBEV today. So the float on this MBEV is 39 million shares, right? There was 129 million shares in volume. Think about that. 129 million shares in volume, but there's only 39 available. So say hypothetically, right, that 1,000 people want to buy 5,000 shares of this, right? So that's 5 million shares. Say they all want to buy it at $5. Can they? No, because there would have to be 5 million shares available at $5 for them to buy. Well, that's not going to happen, right? What typically happens is there might be 1,000 shares available at 5. Then there might be a couple thousand at 502, and a couple thousand at 504, and 5,000 at 505. You see what I'm saying here? There's really only a handful amount of shares at every price because the float is really low. There's not really any shares available. So what happens is if everybody wants it, they have to start competing with each other, raising their offer to buy, and that's how these stocks just go straight up bonkers, right? And so like we were trying to say, 39 million share float, which is low. Anything under 100 million, I consider a low float. Write that down. So if you get 129 million volume, and then you got a low float stock with 39, right? That's how you could get something to really, really go, right, to $10. Volume plus low float, and then you get a hot sector, can really go. And then we look at that sector momentum, right? What's the overall sector doing? Whether it's weed, it's IPOs, China stocks, every month there's like a new flavor of the month. Anybody ever drink matcha tea? It's the worst. Right? Different weed stocks to watch. CGC or weed. TLRY, which is really the highest market cap one right now, but it's also probably the biggest turd. Cron, APH, there's ACB. Some of these are going to be Canadian. IGC and MBEV are kind of like two new ones that have been popping up in the US. They're like offshoots of weed stocks. They're not like pure weed stocks, but they're kind of like in that game. So like a couple different ones to do. Somebody had mentioned the TRST will be on the NASDAQ too. NASDAQ someday soon. So one to watch. Am I missing any that you guys could think of? Good, 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 good. Good. What else are we missing? Probably not much, I don't think. Let's see here. I think we got it. So these are going to be good Good list to do. And on TC2000, this is how you want to do it, or any charting platform. You want to make a list, do it. So hit watch list, hit new personal list. Then you want to make a list called weeds, right? And now you just want to start adding the ticker, right? So you add them in. MBEV, GWPH. We got CROD, IGC, CRBP somebody mentioned. What else? I got you in there. TRTC. Cool. So there's like all these kind of ones that are popping up. So what you want to do is kind of always keep them on a list so you can kind of flip through them at night, and then you'll have that list forever, right? That way you're not just sitting there on Yahoo Finance trying to figure out what's what, right? Being a trader, a big part of it is just really being organized. Future outlooks for this stuff, right? Weed becomes legal in Canada in October. That's when these things will probably start to dump. It's a sell the news. So anybody ever hear the term like buy the rumor, sell the news? Once weed finally becomes legal, probably a lot of these things will come fading back down, as none of them really even make any money. So that'll be something to watch. When that date comes, we can actually short these things too. So if we start to see the inkling that they've run up too far, too fast, we'll short them and bet on them to go down, and we'll catch them on the crash too, right? And look, these days, like everybody's starting to smoke pot because it's like the cool thing to do or whatever. And it's like not cool to rage anymore, or go to nightclubs or get bottle service. I don't know. The feminization of men is a whole different topic here. But the weed's like the cool thing. Man, I went to this party last week and I saw these dudes, like these frat bro dudes. And I was like, hey, you guys want a beer? And both of them were like, we don't drink beer. And I'm like, what is going on in the world here? They're like, we smoke weed, bro. It's like, oh my Lord. You never heard anybody have a cool story that said, man, I had so much weed and I ended up in, the gutter of Tijuana with my best friends, right? Like every good story starts with, man, I was so drunk I met this chick and so on and so forth, right? That's the fun part, right? So I don't know what the thing is with the weeds, but that's just the nature of the game. It's a hipster thing. So watch out. These things still will probably have a little bit of room to run, but let's look at some trading patterns and talk about this. So the first pattern that we want to talk about is a flag breakout. This is a swing trade pattern only, so not day trade. So when we look at this pattern, I want you to just think about long-term, your daily chart. So what we're looking for is, first of all, and the reason I talk about this pattern in the beginning is because it's just an easy pattern for you guys to identify. By no means is any pattern better than others, all right? People are always like searching for like, what's the best pattern? There is no such thing. Different traders trade different patterns well. But one of the reasons I teach my students this pattern in the beginning is that trading in itself is so confusing in the beginning, right? Anybody ever start trading and you're just like, you think to yourself like, where do I even start? Like, what do I do? Right? Like, how do I get fucking into this stock, right, that I want? Well, I teach this pattern almost all my students when they're new, because in the beginning, there's just so much going on that this is an easy pattern to identify because it has a very set specific characteristics that have to show before a trade can be taken. So a flag pattern, we're going to be looking for like some type of thrust upward in a stock. It could be in one day or it could be over a period of 4 or 5 days or even 10 days. So we're looking for a thrust upward. A stock's been moving upward for a few days or even a week or two. Then what's going to happen is stocks are like people, right? So when you run for a while, what has to happen? You got to take a little bit of a break. Well, stocks are the same way. If a stock explodes and you run like 20, 30% over a couple days, well, what's going to happen? Right? You can't just run up forever. You get tired. And so a stock's got to rest. Well, the strongest stocks they won't even come down in price. They're so strong and there's so little selling going on that the stock will run up and then it'll just spend some time consolidating for a period of time. It'll just go sideways for a period of time. And so what will happen is as this range forms, as it's just going sideways, you essentially have something that looks exactly like a flag. You're going to have a period of run up, and then usually it's a 3 to 10 day consolidation. So you're going to consolidate for 3 to 10 days and build up some rest, some momentum. During this time, you're going to see low volume. You're going to see low volatility. The range will often get tighter as the flag gets ready to break. And then you'll have very, very well-defined ranges where you'll know where to put your stop loss when you take the trade. And then usually what we'll be doing is once the stock breaks out, we'll buy it and then put our stop under the EMAs. You guys remember what we talked about yesterday with the 9 EMAs, right? So oftentimes when you're building a flag, your 9 EMA will be curling right up under it into the breakout. So what we'll be doing is you can use that as a way to manage your risk. But more importantly than even that, you can use it as a way to help time your trade. Because when that 9 EMA curls for the girls right up under it, then you know that the trade is ready and that it's ready to break out, and that's going to be a huge part of it. So let's talk a little bit about some different flag patterns and we'll kind of run into this thing. So a flag pattern now is going to be really, really just like a simple problem. And the reason I use 9 EMAs, I just find that that's what works. I've been using it for years and I found that that's just what works. So like what a flag pattern would be is, something that's just really simple. You've got a stock that runs up for a period of time. So like this one goes from right $24 to $49, right? And then what you start to see for 3 to 10 days is you start to see a range start to build, right? You got a wide range that gets tighter and tighter, and you essentially are building a flag pattern that gets tightened up. And in it, the 9 EMA will curl up under it, and so now you have a way to measure your risk. So when you actually break, the stock breaks out of your trend line, you're going to be playing this thing to the upside. And so it's just a simple pattern. I do these kind of things all the time because, frankly, it's just one of the easier types of plays to do. And you can do it on any type of stock. So let's not think like you could just do them on weed stocks, right? This is the same type of deal. So see like this, I had this awesome swing trade in this IQ at one point. This thing was at $16. It ran to $24 in 4 days. So what is that, like 20, 30%, right? And then look what happens. So this thing gets tired, right? It starts to get overbought on the stochastics. Remember what we learned about in stochastics yesterday? When something gets over 80, that means it's overbought. Most likely the stock has to come back down. When the stochastics go under 20, and when a stock's coming down and the stochastics go under 20, that usually means it's going to bounce. 80 is overbought, meaning that you're too stretched to the upside, and 20 is oversold, right? And we usually only look for extreme levels. So this stock runs for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days, all right? So you're running out, whoa, what just happened? There we go. We're running out for 4 days. Now, if we're running out for 4 damn days, what's going to happen? This thing ran up all this way, it's tired. So now it's got to come back and rest. So what do you start to see here? 1 day it goes sideways, 2 days it goes sideways, 3 days it goes sideways, 4 days it goes sideways, 5 days it goes sideways, 6 days it goes sideways, 7 days it goes sideways, right? So see how you just start to build out this nice, easy flag. Whoa. So it literally, like when you salute the flag, like salute your short style, right? You're in summer camp. See that? So this is your flag pole. Then you start to consolidate. And usually what will happen is you'll build a range on the bottom, right? Some type of support that'll help you monitor where your stop loss should be. The range will start to tighten up. Guys, stocks get their power from consolidation, from basic. Stocks get their power, their explosion from resting periods. From a resting period, that period of hibernation, that energy builds. And so when it comes out, that's where you get the explosion. And so we got a flagpole, right? 3 to 10 days, we want to see this thing go sideways. All right, sideways, sideways. So that when you finally break, this is how you do it. Who's got their trading platform, right? You got your trading platform up. You put in the ticker. For those of you guys that haven't traded before, right? So guys, give me a rundown. Where would you buy this thing and where would you put your stop loss? Type it in. Let me know. Where would you buy this and where would you put your stop loss? Don't be shy. Good, Nick. Good, John. Austin, you can do that too. Good, Kevin. Momo. Casey, my buddy, how you doing? Mr. Harper, right on the dot as always. Hey, guys, hold on one sec. Let me grab myself a little LaCroix. Good. So where you would want to buy it, it's not an exact science. I'd probably buy this thing right at $21, right? Right at $21 would be my buy spot. Now your 9 EMA is like kind of 20-40, and then you want to always give it a little bit of room. So I would just give it to about $20, right? So I would buy at 21, put my stop loss at 20. So what's my risk on this? $1. Where's my first level of potential resistance? $23.20. So I have $2.20 before I even hit a first level of resistance. So that's my potential reward. And I have $1 of risk, which is good, right? If every time you made a decision, you gave somebody $1 and you potentially could give back $2, it's pretty good. That doesn't mean we sell there, but it's just we like to watch levels, right? So that's a quintessential flag pattern. Make sense? Good. Now the weed stocks, they'll start to flag out like this too. Now the move just started, so we don't have any flags yet in them. I mean, CGC's done a couple, and there's been a couple other ones, but this is what we're looking for. Same type of deal. So check this out. So this is, you can do this type of pattern any stock, guys. Don't just get in your heads, I'm going to just trade weeds or this, that, or small caps or big caps. Money is money. I have a student of mine. He's fantastic, right? And he trades only these large cap stocks. He's got like a $3,000 account. He day trades in it stuff. But he just buys like 50 shares of some of this stuff, and he'll rip like $20, $30 on the trade in points on some of these big cap names, and you rip like $1,000 on them. So like, see this thing, like this is Boeing. So this thing starts at like 260, 270, right? Runs at $300. Now look what starts to happen. You start to, remember, stocks like to rest, right? So now you start to consolidate, right? 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. See how tight the range is? The tightening of range, the consolidation is what builds the power, right? It's that hibernation phase in a trending stock that can give us opportunity. So as this thing is going sideways, and then you'll see that 9 EMA start to curl up as it breaks out, right? You break that trend line, just put a stop, right under your support levels here. Now, guess what? You're into this thing for a potential swing trade. So right now, we're not talking about day trade. I'm just talking about like more of a longer term trade. Because some of you guys are part-time traders, right? Some of you guys have jobs. You're not going to want to sashay around like some of us degenerates, right? I must have made like 50 damn trades today, right? Some days you're like done day trading, you're like, what just happened today? Right? Like you're like, whoa. So swing trading is awesome too. And this type of trading, by the way, everybody needs to learn like a swing trading, because you're gonna have like IRAs and 401ks, and like you got to save for your retirement and stuff. Be responsible about that stuff. Always save for your retirement. Trading is just a job, right? It's a job like anything else. And so, you still want to have, right, proper insurances and save for your retirement and stuff. I made those mistakes in the past. Don't be a statistic, right? Don't be like an Indian rapper. That's what I thought I was when I was in my 20s. All right. So pop up, sideways movement, that tightening of range. So it's buy, set your stop, let her rock. Now, how do you know when to sell, right? That's always the trickiest part. Yeah, and that's like a 3-4 hour subject in itself. But typically what I like to do, like when I'm looking to potentially sell and stuff like that, I'll look at my stochastics, I'll look at my Bollinger Bands even, and then I use a little bit of common sense. If something gets extreme overbought or extreme extended, I look to sell off half. Then what I'll do is put a stop loss at my buy price to make it a free trade, like play it on the casino. And then I let the trade develop into what it's going to do, right? And I'll use like something like my 9 EMA to kind of let this thing trend higher. And that's kind of a simplistic way to do it, but for the purpose of how much time we have, that will work. The other thing to remember is, like, typically if I risked $1 on a trade and say I was up 3, if I was up 3, then guess what? Right? I want to start looking to sell. If I make 3 times my risk, I want to start looking to potentially take some off the table, because, well, heck, right? We've got to take profits, especially when we have them. And so that's just the nature of the beast. Something that I think is really, really important. Man, I was just in this other one. What's that stock, guys? The guys in my chat room. For those of you guys chat, what's that stock we trade sometimes? Cool. So like this is like a quintessential flag pattern too. So guys, are you guys following so far the parameters of this thing? So like, see this, like a CDNA. This thing was at 12 bucks, right? And it goes all the way to 18 bucks. So that's like 30% gain, give or take, right? Now, as this goes up, like nothing can go up forever, right? They've got to rest. So the stock's gone up, but there's not many sellers in it. So it just starts to go sideways. That's awesome. When we see that, we get excited. We want that. So now what happens, as this thing starts to go sideways, see that? As this thing starts to go sideways, right, you're building out your flag pattern. And by the way, this is a daily chart. On your TC does, if you just hit control in your mouse, you can just drag lines everywhere. For those of you guys, I know a few people ask me, how do you make the lines? So you pop up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 days it goes sideways, right? Good. Where would you buy this and where would you put your stop? Hey, Sam, what's up, baby? Where would you buy this and where would you put your stop? Come on. Spit it out. Good, Austin. Who else? Good, Elwin. Good, Bobby. Good, John. Good. Harry, good. Diana, good. Cool. So yeah, so in general, you're probably going to want to buy this around 18. It might be a little bit before or after. It's never going to be that precise. You'll probably want to buy this on 18. Put your stop under the 9 EMA, but you always want to give it some room. So I give it like kind of a candle's worth of room. So like these candles are like 50 cents, right? So I probably put about 50 cents under. So I buy at 18, put my stop at 17, maybe, give or take, just to give it a little bit of room. And now you're ready to go. What else do we like about this stock? So first of all, we know that it's a trend. So guys, when you're analyzing a stock, there's more to it than just a pattern, right? Remember what we talked about. When you're analyzing a stock, think of it like this. You're like a lawyer, right? You're like a lawyer, and you're building a case for why you would take your hard-earned money and put it into a stock. And so you have to know beyond a reasonable doubt that this stock is ready for your money, that it deserves your money. We don't just blatantly throw money around and sashay around like a bunch of degenerates. Well, yeah, we do sometimes, but when we're trading well, right, we're lawyers and we build a case for every time we hit that button. So when we build a case, there's a handful of things that we want to look at. So write this down, guys, right? Write this down. When we build a case, there's a handful of stuff that we want to look at. So what would we want to look at? Well, the first thing that always happens is, dun, 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 right? The first thing that we always want to do is we want to look at the daily pattern, right? What's our daily pattern? So that's going to be huge, right? So the daily pattern is the first thing that we ever want to look at. So what do we have on the daily pattern here? What's our pattern? Give me a rundown. What's our pattern? Good. Good, 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 good. Yes. All right. Awesome. So our daily pattern is a flag pattern, right? Hold on one second. So we got a flag pattern on the daily, right? Now we want to look at volume patterns. When we look at volume patterns, we don't want to see any big red candles here, right? So that's where we want to go with this. So we've got ourselves a flag. What's our volume? Check. What's our stochastics? We don't want to buy anything that's overbought. Check. Is our risk managed? Check. Right? So now what's starting to happen, guys, man, this is the best part, right? Now what's starting to happen is we are starting to build, a case for our stock. And that's when we're really going to have everything just rocking and rolling, right? Rocking and rolling. So now when we get into the morning, I've got the checklist of all the stuff that I need to see. It's ready to go. My risk is managed. If the market is good to go, well, right? Then this thing is just, now we're in the game, right? Now we are in the big game. And I think that's really important when we think about like how the heck to make all this stuff happen, right? So always think about that when we're thinking about flag patterns. Now let's take a look at a couple more. So I think you guys got the gist of this though. I'm pretty sure. All right. Good. So now what do you see here? Guys, give me the rundown. Dun, 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 dun. Good. So we've got this thing, it's at 850, right? Now from 850, this thing runs to 11 bucks. So it's about 30%, give or take, right? That's huge. Now from there, we've got to have some consolidation. So we got 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. So it's about 10 days of sideways consolidation, right? This thing's a little bit extended. See how it touched overbought stochastics here? This happens a lot, guys. When a stock is running, the stochastics get overbought. It gets tired. The stochastic getting overbought tells you this stock has run too far, too fast, and now it needs to chill, right? So you get that sideways movement. You work off that overbought stochastics. You tighten up that range. And then when it goes, it's just buy, set your stop, let it rock, right? And we want to start selling this thing when it gets a little bit extended. And we want to start selling this thing when we at least start to see, right, that kind of 2 to 1, 3 to 1 reward to risk. Make sense, my friends? All right, everybody's followed me so far. Yes, Austin. I do too, my friend. Austin is saying, I love stocks that have $100 or more of range, which is, frankly, that's what I like too. Now let's talk a little bit about, hey, Bonsi, how you doing, brother? Let's talk a little bit about a day trading strategy. So a day trading strategy has just a slight tweak to what we need to do, right? Just a slight tweak to what we need to do. So when we think about a day trading strategy, what we're going to be doing is taking something that's long-term, like, hey, I like this stock on a big picture basis. It's doing XYZ pattern. And then what we do intraday is start to use specific sequences to get into a stock. So the opening range breakout, for those of you guys that are new to us, is a very, very simple pattern that you will be able to identify like in a hot second. And frankly, it works really, really well with pot stocks, because pot stocks have a lot of momentum, and this strategy only really works with like really big momentum stocks. So opening range breakout is when you get a momentum stock that gaps up, right? A momentum stock that gaps up in the morning. And then what's going to happen, guys, is at the open, it's going to gap up. You're going to start to get this consolidation where it's just going to go sideways for a period of time, right? You're going to need to see at least 2 5-minute candles that go sideways. So what's going to happen here is the stock is going to gap up. It's going to spike up at the open, and you're going to see a 5-minute candle. So you need to see minimum two 5-minute candles. Then as the third one as the third one breaks, you can buy, but minimum 2. Now you may gap up and you may see 5-minute, 5-minute, 5-minute. You may see a few of them before it goes. So I'm just saying the minimum is 2. I have lost so much money in my career because I bought the first candle. Stock open, I bought first candle. Anybody ever do that? You buy like the first candle, you get all excited, people are talking about the stock, and then it goes down. It's really depressing, right? Well, the reason you don't want to do the first candle is because sometimes they just pop up and they just come back down. You don't have a way to manage your risk. The reason that the opening range breakout is really effective is that because you pop up, but then you're going to go sideways for a period of time. So you're going to have like a range. And when you have a range, then what's going to happen is you have a way to minimize your risk. See, when that range builds, and that's why we like the opening range breakout. Number one, if you wait at least those 3 candles, then you know that it's going to hold, which is good, right? The second part is then you have a range where you can set your stop loss, which is also, frankly, really, really good. And so that's going to be something that's really important. So then what we want to do is buy on the break of that consolidation range. You can also anticipate it if you have a level of support for the stock. Now, this trade is done specifically in the first 30 minutes of the market. Also, remember where your 9 EMA and VWAP are. The further you are away from there, the riskier the trade is. That's why if you wait a little bit, the 9 EMA and the VWAP will start to catch up to it, and that'll help you really minimize your risk. So like Josh is one of my Canadian guys. Josh works with us. He trades this HMGTL all the time. So it's a very, very simple setup you can do. So like, see how you like pop up here in the morning? Then you got 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles straight up, right? So you got 3 candles going in this bad boy. Now, as soon as that happens, 1, 2, 3, you can buy on the break of the third one, right? And then your stop is just going to go on the bottom of the range. And now you're into this thing for a day trade. Now, the key to day trading, the opening range breakout, is that it's a quick pattern. It's meant for the open. There are 3 stages to the market. There's the open, which is 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning. Then you have your midday, which is your 10:30 to 2:30. And then you have your end of day, which is your 2 to close, right? And so now you want to come in. So your opening range breakout is meant to just be a quick trade. I usually hold my opening range breakouts for sometimes like 5-10 minutes. So if I really time them right, I might be selling this thing right away. So it becomes really kind of a cool thing to do. So it's just an interesting way to kind of get into these things. Cron, this one does it all the time too. So this was a trade we took in Cron just a little while ago. Just a simple kind of trade. So check this out. So Cron is like starting to have some real momentum. It gets into the 9s. See how it gaps up in the morning? So it's on your trade ideas. And by the way, guys, you can use the stock market watch to find gappers too, and it's free. Because I know trade ideas, that can cost some money. But Cron, I mean, the stock market watch will give you some gappers, and it's a free thing. Cool. Now, this thing pops up, right? You guys see that so far? God damn. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you took 5 candles, right? So these are 5 minutes. So it's about 30 minutes of the market. You have a range start to develop. Guys, you have to have a really tight range when you look for an opening range breakout. Otherwise, the trade will usually fail or it'll be just really sloppy. So as this range is building, when you take out the range and you break your trend line and you come out of this, it's just like a little flag right at the open. That's all an opening range breakout. You're going to be buying this thing and then put a stop right up under your VWAP. Write that down. Put a stop under your VWAP. And now you're into this thing. So you'll be in this thing like, say, 940, right? And now you're going to catch this thing for that opening thrust. As it's trending, just use your 9 EMA to let it guide you. All right? That's going to be really important. CGC. Man, this stock ORBs all the time. So this stock broke out. It gapped up here. You guys see the gap here? So you pop up here. 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candles. So on the third, I guess it would have been the 4th candle, right? This thing took out its range. So where are you going to buy and where are you going to put your stop loss on this bad boy, guys? Give me an idea. Where would you buy and put a stop loss on this? Good, Ryan. Ronnie, good. Bobby, my man. Good, Viraj. Dragos. Man, what a cool name. Dragos. If he dies, he dies. What movie is that from? If he dies, he dies. Man, Rocky IV has got to be one of the best movies of all time. How Rocky IV didn't get an Oscar is just beyond me. Right? Like, that's a movie. That's a real man right there, man. His buddy dies. Guy goes to Russia to avenge his buddy. I mean, that's something, right? All right. So, and was Putin around in Rocky IV? That would have been epic. All right, so yeah, we'd probably buy this and look, it's not gonna be an exact science because we can't see the numbers that close. It's a little fuzzy, but yeah, you're gonna probably buy this thing around 30, right? Put the stop a little bit under the VWAP here. You got VWAP support here, and now you're gonna get into this thing. Now, I always, and guys, I'm a premature seller. I mean, I'm always like kind of skeeting the sell. I'm always like, fuck, I just sold too early. But that's because I like to win all the time. So I always take a little bit off the table into the first thrust. If I get one good thrust like this, and I've got, say, 1,000 shares, this bad boy, I'm going to take some off the table. I'm going to take some off the table and pay myself, and then I put a stop loss in my buy price and make it a free trade. And I'll keep this thing going, as it goes up. So now, look, an opening range breakout, it's not going to go up all day, right? Once you get past that first hour, you're going to get deeper pullbacks, right? What do we look for? So this is how I plan out my days. At the open, I look for ORBs and quick pullback buys. Then midday, we're looking for deeper pullbacks like a VWAP trade, right? So like if you were midday, post 1030, where are you trying to buy this? Well, as it starts to pull back to that VWAP, you get that green candle to hold. Good. Your stop goes under. Now you're into this thing for your midday trade. Exactly. You always want to just reload. There's 3 stages to the trading day. So you're open, you take your trade. Boom, take your profits. Midday, you've got different patterns you use. You take your profits. End of day, you'll have different patterns you use, and then you just take your profits. Day trading is about quick trades. Now, the other part about day trading is that all the good actions in the morning anyways, you don't have to even trade all day. I probably make now, I would say 80% of my profits come in the first hour, you know. And if I got shit going on, I'll just trade that first hour, make a little bit of money, and then I'm done, right? If I got time, I'll sit there and hammer it out and grind it out all day because, well, frankly, trading's fun, isn't it? I mean, trading's the funnest thing. Like, I love trading all day. You know, like if I have an opportunity to trade, it's fun. So, I tend to, if there's action in the markets, I'll stick it around. Trading is life. And, I haven't tried to use a trailing stop on something like this because they're just so volatile. And when you're just holding stuff for 5-10 minutes, really, what's the point? Now, like on an ORB, by the way, right, you can do these on any old stock. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, somebody was asking me, can you do ORBs like on different time frames? Hell yeah, you can. Right, so you can do ORBs on any type of time frame. So like, see this Octa? This is what I mean. This stock is breaking out the highs, which I like, right? Remember your flow. Always check the flow. Remember the formula for what makes it go. So you got 76 million share float, right? So if it's 76 million, it's still low float. Anything under 100 is low. Good. So I got to break out on my daily, check the flow, right? Is there volume coming in? All that fun stuff. And then an ORB trade is just something real simple. So you can do these even on big name stocks. You want to do this shit on like slower stocks, you can go ahead. So like, see this thing that pops up at the open? Now, like, see, it never holds its open range right here from the first candle. It starts to build its range on the second candle. But all you're looking for is that range right at the open. So you got 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candles, minimum, right? Now, I'm going to buy here at 70, right? Stop goes right up under here. And now you're into this thing for the opening shred. Guys, don't be afraid to trade like different prices of stocks. Also, you don't have to trade small caps all the time. I find the most steady, consistent gains come from stocks like this that are like more in that 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 range that can move like $5, $10 versus something that's just like, flying around that's a $1 stock. Your chances of blowing up your risk when you're trading penny stocks and small cap stocks all day, like if you trade it once in a while, it's cool. But like if that's your specific strategy and you're brand new, the chances to blow up a couple accounts increases just considerably. And that's coming from, somebody that used to, so we're Bootcamp 2039. Our first 10 boot camps, probably, I was more of a small cap trader. And then, so I've seen the horror of trying to teach new people this kind of stuff with like those just penny stocks, because you know what? Some guy forgets to sell it. Next thing you know, he wakes up, it's cut in half. So think about it like this. Okay, say you have a smaller account, right? And you're like, man, I want to trade a big name stuff. So if you bought this thing at $70, say you bought 100 shares because you got like a $3,000 account, you're gonna use a little margin. Well, if it rips $5, you might make $300, $400 on it once you're done scaling out. Well, that's pretty good day, right? I mean, fuck, how hard do you have to work at a real job, right, to make $300? Well, so that's where we want to go with this. Like, even if you trade $40, $50 stock, if it can rip $3, $4, $5, $6 in range, well, it's a lot easier to trade that back and forth than it is to, get into some small cap that just flies around and you're trying to control the madness of what's going on. It's really hard, and so this is just a steady way to do it. And of course, yeah, sometimes if we see something really hot and it's a smaller cap stock, like I was trading this NBEV today, but man, if we see something, we'll do it, but it doesn't mean like, right? It doesn't mean that that's like what the focus has to be on. Because look, even though this thing exploded today, the volatility was so wild. Like it would go from 740 to 640 all the time. Like that's $1 drop. If you have 5,000 shares, right? You can just, you'd lose thousands of dollars without even really noticing. So don't worry necessarily about, the price of stocks and stuff like that. Check this out, like this was BRKS. So this is Brooks Automation. I mean, I've never even heard of this damn company, right? But this thing gaps up on some earnings, right? Floats low. It's breaking out the highs. So what do you start to see here? Right? See how this thing gaps up? And then you get 1, 2, 3, fourth candle, it breaks, right? It's range. And you got your nice kind of support right up underneath. So you're going to risk about 50 cents. And then boom, right? It starts a trend. Now, right? That first thrust, you want to probably sell off half, and then you let the rest trail up, right? Use your 9 EMA as a guide. It doesn't matter the size of your account. If you had a $3,000 account, you have 100 shares of this thing, and it can move $4, you had yourself a nice steady day with low risk. Because think about it like this. You have a $3,000 account, you take a trade like this. You buy it at $35.50, right? And your stop loss goes here. So you're going to say use a 30-cent stop loss. Well, on 100 shares, what's 30 cents? It's $30. $30 risk to make potentially a few hundred. That's a game that you can survive and build consistency on. But it's hard to survive and build consistency on if you're just trading some wild penny stock and you're trying to buy as many shares as you can, and then it's moving all over the place. And yeah, you're up, and sometimes you get lucky and you have this big win. But just as many times you have big losses. Where we've got to go with the mentality of being a professional trader is risking small and making a little bit of money every day, right? And doing it consistently. It's much easier to grow your account and better for your heart and frankly your well-being and how you treat other people by making gains every day consistently with low risk. Right? If you're making $100, $200, $300, $400, $100, $80, whatever, and you're kind of doing this over the course of the day by taking minimal risk, $30 on a trade, $50 on a trade, you're going to build a real professional, workman-like kind of attitude towards trading that you're just going to need to really build a future in this. The people that make a career out of this that last a long time, I'm talking long time from, for years and years, those people, they have, they're grinders, right? They're like working every single day to make a little bit of money. And that's how you stay in the game long term, by never taking big risks. Finding out other sectors, right? So always we're looking for catalysts of different sectors and momentum. So check ETS for that sector also. One thing that I'll do in TCF is TC2000, you can run scans on like sector indexes, and you can run like a scan within even sectors. So like you can like take a list and then apply a scan on it. So you can do that with US stocks, sector stocks, ETFs, whatever it is. So what I'll usually do on a Sunday is I'll run a scan through all the different sectors in TC2000 and start hunting for momentum. So I'll make a list of the sectors, and then I'll apply an individual scan, a ranking on it to see like what are the sectors that are moving on the most. And that gives you an easy way to kind of see where the sector momentum is. Because then when you can figure that out, then you know, right, where to put a little bit more juice into it. That's going to be really important when you're thinking about trading. So remember that like a lot of times these things start during earnings season. There's 4 earnings seasons every single year. The earnings season is where you get a majority, all the fun gap days. So, we've been running the trade idea scans, right, for gaps, and that's awesome. Well, when earnings season comes, there are going to be 100 companies, 200 companies or more every single day announcing earnings. So you're going to see gaps up and down everywhere. Those seasons is where you're going to find the funnest stocks to trade, but also some of your biggest gains. Good earnings can cause hot sectors to start exploding with momentum. It doesn't have to be just weed. It could be video stocks. It could be Chinese stocks, whatever it is. So be prepared this next third quarter, the next earnings season that's coming. We just had one, last week in August we had one, so probably October, November, right? We start back up with earnings season, and you'll start to see other things start to fire off, and it's going to be literally amazing. It's my favorite time of the year to trade, which is awesome because by the time the next earnings season comes, right, we'll be knee deep in boot camp, and so I'll be walking you guys through this stuff and trading in front of you guys live so that you can actually see how the heck we do this. So guys, what we covered today, I know I get a little long-winded, but bear with me. I'll make sure to answer all your questions. We've looked at morning routines, scanning routines, future outlooks for cannabis sectors, how to take this strategy to other sectors, and then, of course, earnings season. That's going to be just a huge, huge thing. So this next earnings season, guys, be prepared. Get your gap scans ready. Get your trade ideas, or, you can use the stockmarketwatch.com. And, man, you want to start hunting around for these gappers because that's where the real action is going to be. That's my favorite time to earn. All these stocks that we trade with those little gaps, they usually come off earnings or PRs. And so they get centered around certain seasons. So it's going to be pretty damn cool. Guys, remember what I told you? The people that stay in this game, they're grinders. They go out and work like every day on a really workmanlike attitude, trying to grind out just gains, never big home runs, never big risk. Why 95% of traders, even maybe 99% of traders, blow up their accounts? They got poor risk management. They don't use stop losses, right? You buy a trade, always get this mantra in your head. Buy, set your stop, let it rock, right? That's what I always tell my guys. Buy, set your stop. You just like second nature, right? You buy something, you immediately put a stop in your on your platform. When you have a stop loss on your platform, then you can multitask. You can do your work. You can take the emotion out of trading. Why there's so much emotion in trading sometimes? See, when you don't have a stop loss in, you're trying to figure out where to sell, right? You're like, oh my God, it's going down. Should I sell? Should I not? And when you're doing that game, should I sell? Should I not? After you're in a trade, you're screwed. The plan for the trade on where you sell is already done before you ever take the trade. Before you're in, you already need to know where I'm going to buy, where I'm going to sell, where are my potential targets. That's going to be just a huge thing. Don't worry about market makers and all that stuff, because what's worse, some market maker or you being in a $15 stop, you don't put a stop loss, the next thing you know it's at 11 because you got scared. And this market maker thing's mostly urban legend. That type of stuff was around in the 80s. Most of the trading is electronic these days anyway. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously key levels in a stock, but there's not guys like sitting in a pit anymore making the markets, right? It's all electronic. Bad timing the entries and exits. Chasing stocks, meaning you buy them too high, that's the cause of almost all big losses. You chase, you die. Remember that. You chase, you die. You chase, you die. You buy high, you die. You chase, you lose. You chase, you might even be a loser, right? If you keep doing it. I had a chasing problem for majority of my beginning of my career. It was like seriously like an addiction. I had you need to go to rehab for it. It's like Kunal Desai, am a chaser, right? Like I'd see stocks, I'd be like, man, I really like it. And then they would explode and I'd be like, oh my God, I got to get in, and I would chase it after it already moved. That's no good. We know that stocks get their power from consolidations and bases. It's those bases, that area of consolidation that we want to buy out of, right? We never want to chase something after it's already gone up. We want to be the first ones to the party, never the last, right? So look for those coil patterns. You chase, you die. You know it, right? You know it in your heart, yet we still do it sometimes. And that's no buenos. That's Spanish for no good. Trading psychology, influence on trading, right? So much of trading is mental, but it's just simple. It's just a game of habits. You got to build good habits. And if you build good habits, then they stick with you forever. So like if you have bad habits in your trading, you're undisciplined, your entries stink, your risk management sucks, with the right teacher, the right group, you can bang out those bad habits really, I wouldn't say easily, but you can bang them out, because it's just, if you do it the right way for a period of time, then the habit is gone, right? And you always have to remember, just as traders, like you guys are all really disciplined in probably a lot of different phases in your life. So there's no reason you can't be disciplined in your trading, right? Pay your taxes, you go to work on time, right? You're nice to your kids, you don't forget their birthdays too often, right? All that stuff, you're disciplined. And so that stuff will translate into your trading with the proper methodology, but just more getting into a system where you're really repeating and rinsing the same things over and over and over. Competence breeds confidence in trading, right? Poor preparation is one of the big things that'll get new traders too. I know when I take a trade where I want to buy it, where my stop loss should be, what my potential targets are. And also I always keep in the back of my mind, like, what are potential red flags on this trade? Like, what am I nervous about? I keep all of that in my head. I used to actually have to write them down. My mentor, Paul, oh, God bless his soul, right? My mentor, Paul, used to have me write down the trades before I took them. Before I took the trades, he used to make me write down like 2-3 sentences. That actually helped me prevent over trading, because I was over trading a lot. That just sending like 30 seconds, like writing down my trade and my plan before I took it, slowed down my trading. But you know what else it did? As I would write down my trades, I would realize, like, fuck, that's a really bad trade. Like, you're writing it down and you're like, man, I'm really full of shit right now, because this trade plan sucks. So what ended up happening was, as I'm writing it down, I would realize, like, man, this trade's bogus. And then I would not take the trade anyways. And so it really helped prevent me from over trading, but also got me into just taking like the best trades, the best patterns around. So, we spend a lot of time in our boot camp going over these areas, giving you a proven back-end system to do it. Fuck, I haven't swore yet in this whole thing. You got one now, Paul. Damn. Emotional influence equals blown up stop. So keep it simple, guys. Simple strategies, simple game plans, simple and succinct watch list is what will lead to really success. One of the things that I do, like when I'm, one of the things I do when I'm trading, like I use this layout here. It's called the 6 windows layout on your TC2000. And like I use this to basically, I use this to monitor my stocks. So like I come in, I come in on these things and I'm like, man, there's so many stocks going on, but I narrowed them down to 6 and I keep them on this layout. And then what I do is, and TC does, you could detach these. So I can float in a new layout. See that? So I just take it to another monitor. For those of you guys that don't have another monitor, but you have like something like an iPad, you can use your iPad as a second screen too. There's an app called Duet Display, and you plug your iPad into your laptop. I do it when I travel. Bam! Like you got yourself a second monitor. And look, your iPad monitor is gonna be like the highest resolution monitor around, right? I mean, those things are like 8K. So like, yeah, I just detach this thing. And I'll drag this even to my iPad if I need to, if I'm traveling. And I just watch 6 window layout on this, and then I have on my other layout, right? I have on my main one, like my scanning and all this stuff. So that's actually pretty cool, right? So you can go in here, and so I have one layout where I'm just kind of hunting through my watch list, scanning for stuff. Then I have my 6 window layout. Bam, bam, bam. Yes, there is I do have a discount to TC2000 if you need one. I'll find the link to it. When we're done, I'll get it to you. So guys, if you have any questions about anything, you guys feel free to just contact any of my students. I'll give you the names, phone numbers, whatever. If you ever want to chat with anybody or just meet up with people in general, that's what building communities is just all about. You can tell me any city in the world you're in, and I can name you 5 students from there. Man, you in Paducah, Kansas, I know just a guy. You in Kansas City, Kansas, just a guy. Josh, my one best students in Edmonton, Harsh. You probably met Josh. He's the guy answering the questions on here. I know everybody everywhere. You know, you give me the area code and I'll find the guy. You know, I do have a morning chat room also. I'm on screen share. Of course, Bobby. I'm on screen share every day in my chat room, trading in front of my students. So I put out a link in the morning, just like this GoToWebinar link, and I get on screen share, and then of course, you know, I'm going in and hitting all that up. So that's the way this stuff goes. It's been pretty cool. Actually, I do have some people in the south of Texas. More San Antonio, but I got some people in the military, the Air Force that are closer in that San Antonio, El Paso corridor. If you don't mind, a couple of Air Force guys. Yeah, it is fun watching trading in front of everybody, so I do appreciate that, Robin. Cool. So let me know if you ever want to chat with anybody. I've got students all over the place, and you guys are more than welcome to hit them up and see what the heck is going on. As you know, our boot camp class starts the 25th, right? So it's 28 live classes. Guys, I believe it is the only way to learn to trade, not through me, but through live classes, through live mentorship. If you can't get somebody on the phone, that's not your mentor, right? You got to have live classes. You got to be able to answer questions. You got to see their damn face. And most importantly, you got to get them to take your call, right? If you buy anything from anybody, that owner should be able to pick up your phone call. So that's always, you know, the key to everything. You guys have my number, 517-974-1480. Anytime you need anything to go, I'll get that thing go, right? So 28 live classes. Hey, K-Grass, you look like the secretary over here, right? Classes are recorded for playback, always important. I know a lot of you guys are in foreign countries and all that fun stuff. So what we do is we have a bootcamp module page on our website, right? When you go in here, you'll have your registrations, you'll have market recaps. We have a forum where people can hang out. All your quizzes, your homework, all of that stuff is up on here. And then like everything is cool. The fun part about boot camp is, you know, like right now we're in the market recap phase of our last boot camp. I literally recap the trading day every day in front of my students. So we take all the trades that I do and we reverse engineer these bad boys to get it going, right? Do you see my question? It's not technically a question because you didn't ask anything. So that's going to be the biggest thing kind of in this stuff. We record everything. You're going to be able to kind of come through. The market recap phase is my favorite phase though, because of one reason. You need to be able to see like what my trades were, and then we reverse engineer. So look, like yesterday, was it yesterday? No, last Wednesday, I lost $3,000 bucks. Sucks, right? $3,000 fucking dollars I lost on Wednesday. It was horrendous. But I broke a lot of rules. So like at the end of the trading day, what we have to do, well, sucks for me on those days, but we recap the market and I go through every single one of the trades that I took that day. We reverse engineer them. Now, when I'm trading in front of everybody, they also watching, right? So I'm on screen share anyway. So when I lose, you guys are watching it live. And then at the end of the day, we recap the stuff. But I'm teaching while I'm trading. Like here, I'm going to buy, what pattern is this? Pops up, goes sideways, right? Flag pattern, right? So I took that for a trade. So we talk about all that stuff, you know, and that's going to be really, really important to do. And then we have everything you need. Flashcards, setup guides, position sizing calculators. We grade the trades. So like when you guys are trading on a simulator, when you're coming in boot camp, when boot camp is done, we'll put you on simulators. So when you need to have like, you know, when you're trading, like we literally, like we use, you know, TraderView and some other, you know, some other softwares, but like we can go in and like we grade the students' trades. So like this is Justice, one of my students, right? So like I can go in and see exactly what the heck he was doing on these trades. So he puts a post review on here and he'll put some notes on here and say, okay, bought this, So then I'll be able to see like exactly what he does and then leave a comment. And so that's going to be really, really important. Like when you go through this stuff is, man, he chased the shit out of this thing, right? So, right? What did he mess up on this? Do you guys see? So it popped up here. He bought this third candle, but why did he mess up on this? Does anybody know? He didn't wait for the 3 candle sideways consolidation, right? So like I'll leave a comment. So now Justice will get a notification saying, hey, Kunal has made a comment on your trade. Guys, this is the not the easiest way. This is the way to learn though, right? If you need somebody to go in there and call you a loser sometimes, right? And so that's always gonna, of course, Bonsi, of course. You know, that's the way to really kind of learn this stuff. You've got to go in and, right, we've got to get this thing down. And so, you know, I can go through all my students' trades and see what the heck they're doing. So it's kind of cool. Like this is Charles. He's one of my students. I can actually see, oh, man, like I can see exactly what he was doing today. And that's not good. He's going to kill me that I just whipped this thing out, right? So he leaves really good notes, though. So I can go in and like grade his trades and do all this stuff. And that's actually kind of fun. So that's going to be like one of the best things. Like, you know, as he's going through this stuff, like I want to start grading these trades. Like I can click any one of these and then hit detail. And so now I know, like he bought 1,000 shares here, then sold at 26.90, sold at 26.92, so on and so forth. So I can tell him like, so I can see exactly. See on the chart, he's got the MA, he bought here, sold here. Kind of fun, right? That's how you're going to learn. You know, you need somebody to go through these damn trades and show you really what's up. I think that's going to be just an important part of your progress as traders. So I put you on trading simulators. We work on personalized trade plans, a business plan. You wouldn't open a restaurant without a business plan, would you? You wouldn't open up a bar without a business plan, would you? No, of course not. So we work on business plans. And then the most important part is lifetime access. When we start class on the 25th, I'll have people come in class from like 5 years ago. They'll come in class. They might want to touch up on some things. They might want to touch up on some things, or it's just part of their routine. So like for some people, they know Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m., I'm always in class. And so they have lifetime access. So even if they don't really want to learn anything that day because they've been going through class for 5 years, they'll just pop in. They put their headphones on while their wife's watching TV, come in, say hi, ask a couple questions, so on and so forth. Probably be about 40, Paul. Of course, Corey, there will be a recording. Marianne, I still didn't see your question. I just saw that the question of the question. If you don't mind, hit me up on that. So 200-page course book, right? For those of you guys that are big readers, when you go to the bathroom, what is a better toilet accessory than the best trading book of all time? And then you guys will get 3 months of chat and screen share for free, right? So like this chat room where I'm trading in front of everybody, and we also have other professional traders in there where I'm on screen share. You guys get 3 months of that for free. It's kind of fun though, because at night we do class, right? So that's your book knowledge. It's like, you know, you're going into class, you got your book knowledge. Well, book knowledge and real life knowledge, sometimes they don't mix, right? When you like try it in real life, you're like, whoa. But it's cool because like we'll be learning in the book knowledge. Then when class is done, you come to the chat room and you get to see the real-time application of what we learn by watching me trade. See, when you watch me trade, you're going to take something that's static. See, when class, you're looking at slides. These aren't jiffies, right? Are they called GIFs or jiffies? Are those the things that move up and down when you post them? Jiffies, right? They're not jiffies, right? They're just static. And so they're not moving. And when you trade, when people go to learn, start trading live, then everything's moving around. And it's like, well, in class, they weren't moving. Now I'm getting confused. So what happens is when I trade in front of you, you're able to connect the dots of that static university book knowledge to the real life, right, gunslinging type of trading that we love to do, right? That day trade. And then, of course, we teach swing trading in our class too. So for those of you guys that are part-time traders, we have 5 classes, 10 hours for just learning how to part-time trade. How can I trade using my smartphone? How can I trade using longer-term setups that my mentor Paul does? Paul taught me swing trading when I was, before I ever started day trading, and we do the same. We start you on a big picture. How do we learn to do longer-term trades? And then from there, we start to learn how to day trade. I think that's going to be really, really huge. We do have payment plans available, all that kind of stuff. This is our number if you want to talk to Mary Beth. For first 5 people, we'll get the early bird pricing just like yesterday. So put in your name and your phone number. I will have one of my people give you a call tomorrow. We'll get you that early bird pricing. Type in your phone number to the question section if you want to sign up and come into class. Like I said, you're not going to regret it. It's a lifetime access, right? There's nothing better than that. When you get a mentor for life, that's the way to really go at this. And like I said, you guys are more than welcome to always come and contact me, anytime you want. Like, don't be shy. That's my cell number, right? Actually, I got a bunch of texts from yesterday. People going, is this really you? Is this a robot? And it's not. 813, I got you, Mr. Craig. Good. Look forward to seeing you in class. 813, Tampa. Nice. Mike, good. I look forward to seeing you in class. Who else is coming in with us? Write it on the 18th. Good. Ryan, look forward to seeing you in class. It'll be an honor to work with you. Awesome. So, guys, first 5 people will get you that early bird pricing. Usually our class runs $28.50 as always. It's going to be a fun time. I know for a lot of you guys, you want a little bit more individualized training. I do one-on-one mentorship also, where I work with students for about a 6-month period. I work with students for about a 6-month period where we do strategy sessions every morning before the market opens. Then I do one-on-one sessions with these guys every day. I'm chatting with them every single day via Slack or the phone. And then, they have a networking group of other people that are in my mentorship group. And then they have the opportunity to come and stay at my house for a couple weeks. You can be a week, it can be 2 weeks, and it's whenever you want. You come and stay right in my crib, right at my house. I'll put you in the nice room, I swear. And you come and you learn and trade with me. It's pretty cool. That's a little bit different type of program, obviously. It's for somebody that really wants to, that has the time, first of all, to sit at a computer next to me and have me badger you nonstop, because it's like a daily thing, right? So, we have like our Slack group over here. This is like our, this is what we use for like our mentorship group to kind of talk to everybody. So, I chat with them all day. I chat with them all day, and some of these guys are pretty damn good. And so like I'm working with them all day. Like this guy, Johnny Pasca, he's in Edmonton too. He rolled 6 Gs the other day, fucking trading around on Apple. So it's pretty cool. Anthony, you can use E-Trade Pro or stocks to trade. You can use any any broker or charting platform you want. I'm just talking about the platform I like, but it doesn't have to be that. You can use anything. I would say 50% of my students use Thinkorswim for their charting. So there's no big deal on that one. When the stock goes up, do you ever raise the stop loss? Yeah, you could do that, Marianne. I personally just don't, because I'm a little bit unfocused at times. It's just easier for me to scale out, but it's been pretty good. So guys, if you're just interested in wanting to talk about the academy instead, put in your name, phone number, and I'll personally be calling you to figure out your goals and stuff to see if that's something that we can tolerate each other for a long time. Guys, it's been really fun working with you guys. As you know, I'm Kunal00 on social media. You can contact me, of course, directly via phone or email. My cell is 517-974-1480. Give me a text right now. Let me see. Somebody give me a text. Let me know. Let me know. We're going to be buddies. 517-974-1480. Good. 204. Manitoba. Good. I appreciate it, guys. Don't lose my number, man. I love chatting with people. You'll see some surprise FaceTimes from me, as always. Let's answer this thing up to some questions and go. Anthony, yeah, the scans I have, like say you've got E-Trade Pro, we can take the parameters and put it in your E-Trade Pro. Like that's the least of our problems. Our thing is going to be learning how to trade. You know what I mean? Good. Awesome. Woo! Somebody had just asked, I'm doing some revenge trading. Oh, man. Okay. Hold on. So a bunch of people are sending their questions via text. Even better. So somebody's saying, I know, K-Grass. Kevin, I chat with you on text. And Austin saying, I revenge trade. He's revenge trading. How do you stop that? Think about that. So what is revenge trading? Guys, revenge trading is when you take a bad trade and then the next one, like you're trying to get your money back. And so you like trade too big or you trade too aggressively and you end up like literally doing revenge on yourself, right, to get into the trade. So revenge trading is obviously really bad because all that happens is you take a mistake and then you begat it with another mistake, right? Then a lie begets another lie. And then you get all over the place. You get into this thing where you're like in a spin cycle. I call it the spin cycle of despair, where one loss begats another loss. Then you get emotional. And it begets another loss. Then you're like just taking trades you didn't even want to take. And you're like, how did I get here, right? So there's a couple things. When you're revenge trading like that, there's two things I suggest you do. Number one, you take a break for a couple days if you can't control yourself. If you can't even control yourself to do that, then start doing this. Put on your trading software, I have one on mine, what's called a max loss. Most trading softwares will do this. It's called a max loss. So like if I'm trading bad, I'll put a max loss at $1,000 for the day, meaning that on my software, if my profit and loss goes below $1,000, I'm locked out of my account. Pretty cool, right? So now you're using software and technology to just kind of take the decision out of your hands. The other thing that you can do when you're really, when you're over trading too much, write down the trade before you take it. Sometimes just slowing down the process of your trade by writing it down and actually applying some thought to it will give you so much advantage and clarity into what you're really trying to learn, right? And what you're really trying to trade. And that can help. The other thing that you may want to do if you're really revenge trading and none of those things work, get a trading buddy, accountability partner. I trade with a guy named Saeed Zaman. We've been trading on Gmail chat for like a decade. We met on the tweeter, and we've been Gmail chatting. He's like my best friend. We've been Gmail chatting for a decade. And so like, yeah, like when I'm like over trading and shit like that, Saeed slows me down, says, bro, calm the fuck down. Or like, hey man, why don't you leave for the day? We share our trades as we're trading to get that accountability too. So like, oftentimes I don't want to give him like a bogus trade, right? Like we're talking about ideas. And so having an accountability partner can really help with revenge trading too, because, if you're not going to do it for yourself, a lot of times we'll do it for the shame, right? We don't want to be shamed in front of somebody. And so that becomes really important. Do you ever use limit orders? I find myself trying to use limit orders, but missing my entry. I do use limit orders. You can use a market order if the stock is liquid with no spread. But if the stock has a spread, then you have to use a limit order, of course. But sometimes, Paul, you may have to leave a couple limit orders around to get filled in. Hey, Viraj, good question. You think it's Black Friday's Christmas coming on the line? Retail would be for the next quarter? Yeah, could be. We won't know till we won't know till we know, but we'll definitely get it. We'll see how the gaps work. Anders, how you doing, buddy? How mindful are you of 200 SMA? Do you use it as a resistance level, or do you scratch the trade completely if it doesn't gap above the 200? Andrew, if I'm not gapping up into clear skies, I'm not even taking the trade. So the 200 is probably the least of the worries on there. Like, I need to be clear of almost everything. Hey, Julius, how are you, brother? Good to have you. Question is, when the markets crash, do you play short or options? Yes. Julius, when markets go down, I'm shorting the poop out of stuff using the strategies that we use. Like say the ORB strategy we learned today, Julius. If you turn it upside down, you can do them on the short side too. So that's okay. Like, yeah, we do a lot of shorting. Anthony, is it common for students to pay for the cost with earnings from the knowledge gain? I've never had anybody try it before. No. Oh, good question. How do you beat yourself up over missing a swing on something and gain 400% in 4 days like end the bed? Not really, because if you took that trade 100 times, yeah, it would go up 400% like one of those times. You know what I mean? It's just like kind of a perfect storm of things. The odds of it actually, running, like, and it just being an easy catch is really, I don't know. It seems right. It's just, in hindsight, everything looks easy. Hey, Miss Johnson, I got you. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Miss Johnson, are you in Jacksonville? I got a couple good students, my good friends of mine too in Jacksonville. 904. I got a young lady, Kate, that's been with me for like years. She's in between Orlando and Jacksonville. She's got 904 number too. So she's got to be in that area. I'll hook you up with her too. She's a lovely girl. And she's really good. She's been with me for, I don't even know, maybe 3-4 years. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I know, Kate Grass. Man, why are you hassling me so much today? Dun, 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 dun. What else? Hey, Eric, how you doing? When making a buy, should I never simply buy at market price? Because too often, after I hit the button, I'm already in the red. Should I be using limit and setting the price manually? Hey, good question. So, Eric, you shouldn't really be in the red after you buy, even if you do a market. If you're timing your stocks right for the inflection points, they should be going up as they break out. Share entries may be a little bit off, but yeah, like I typically use limit orders for the most part. But if I got to get into a stock, man, I'll just rip into it, as long as there's no spread. There's also a thing you can do, which is like, I have it on my platform. It's a market order, but the market order has a limit of just like, say, 2 pennies above the ask. So like, you're never going to get that bad of a fill. Trevor, what's going on, baby? Which is the time frame that you trust most regards to keeping an eye on EMAs, VWAPs? I use the 5-minute chart when I'm intraday trading, Trevor, and then daily charts, to kind of take the big picture of stuff. My D. T-Rex, how you doing? T-Rex, the reading material, what reading material were you referring to? Sherez, how you doing, girl? What's going on in London? I'll get you the videos and stuff. Kevin Grass. All right. Who else got any questions? Guys, did I miss anybody's questions too? Trevor, I got on the DJ business, Friday, Saturdays, 14-hour days. Perfect. So you got weekdays to really chill. T-Rex, you know, I've never really, you don't want to buy this book. I mean, it's the book without the man is just a book. And a man cannot be written down on just a piece of paper. You've got to take it in. That sounds dirty, but you know what I mean. Let's see, UTX, how you doing, brother? My Indian brother. You know, I didn't take this out, but this would have been a flat top breakout. You're right. I missed this one. I probably wouldn't have taken it because it just would have been a little bit slow for me. But that's picture perfect. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests, right? That 9 EMA breaking up right over. I like that. Good job. Good job. What else? Man, I lost the question box. How long is the boot camp? Somebody's asking for exact dates. So I would go in, the first month is just straight coursework. You're talking September 25th to maybe the first week of November will just be straight coursework. Then I'll get you all into the chat room. You'll be watching me trade. During this time, you'll also be on simulator. So you'll be practice trading too. You'll be watching me. At the end of the day, we'll do trade recaps. We'll look at how much money did Mr. Kunal make or lose, reverse engineer the trades, and then you'll go through that path for a while. And during this time, I'll be grading your sim trades and all that fun stuff, getting you guys ready to trade live. We have an idea of like what the statistics you need to show on the simulator so that we know like you're probably ready to go live with real money. So that's going to be pretty good. Bobby, are you still looking at, Bobby's asking, are you still looking at cryptos? You know what? I've been trading cryptos today. You know, I hit this XRP for a trade and stuff like that. Will we go over strategies about PDT? Yes, I've got a bunch of those. That's my bread and butter right there. Mohammed, I've been trading a simulator for 3 months. When do you think we should switch to the live trading? Mo, I would say if you're winning 4 out of 5 days a week, your average gain is 1.5 to 2 times bigger than your average loss. You're getting into the range. Then you want to think about like, do I have a group of go-to setups that I can count on and things of that nature to really know that you're ready. Can you give me the Aurora? What's the ticker? Can we pay just for the chat room? Of course. Yeah, you can come in just the chat room. Go to the Bulls on Wall Street website. We have a chat room too. ACB. You know, depends on where you bought it. Like if you're buying it up here, that might be pricey, right? But if you bought it low, then it might be a little different. The key is going to be like, you know, are you in a trending environment and do you have a surefire pattern? I'm not an investor in, you know, like, I mean, out of all the things I'm interested in investing in, like artificial intelligence, virtual reality, like really cool shit, potheads are like the least of my concern, right? Nobody smokes weed anymore. It's not good for your productivity. I'm just fucking with you. Yes. Harry says, yeah, I made $660 today using our VWAP bounce setup we learned yesterday. Guys, we learned this thing yesterday, right? No sense of you guys missing out, right? The big thrust, pull back to the VWAP, green candles to hold. Woo! Good job. I'm just teasing, buddy. I tell you, you know, and yeah, I wouldn't want to rip you off on a book here. I mean, it's just a book. Yeah, VKTX is an interesting thing. So it had the gap up, but now it's just got to form a pattern. You know, like there's nothing to do yet on this till like a pattern forms. You know what I mean? So you just got to wait it out. Vadim, what you doing, man? You doing those indicas? Kevin, by the way, if you just go to the Bulls website, you'll see the chat room stuff. And yeah, I go on YouTube live in the morning, get everybody ready for the trading day and stuff too. So, you know, if you guys ever want to just hop on, go to the Bulls on Wall Street YouTube, you'll see me rolling around. A couple people have asked about if we got any, what's it called? Shit. If we got any discounts to TC2000, you bet. I'll send that to everybody right now. You can sign with TC2000. That'll get you all like my layouts and a video on how to set it all up too. Would you ever trade PDEX? PDEX. I wouldn't have traded this, no, because it just doesn't have the liquidity I need. You could, like if you're buying a few hundred shares of this, not a big deal. If you're buying a few thousand shares of it, then it'd be a little bit rougher. You know what I mean, Bob? Yeah, you know what? I saw this today. Yeah. I'd put this on the list for tomorrow for maybe a second day play. It's probably a huge turn, but yeah, might run for a couple days. Oh man. Anybody else getting questions? Did y'all enjoy it at least? Did you guys have fun? Cool. Cool. Yep. Last call. Type in your phone number if you want to have a trading consultation tomorrow. If you just want to chat with me or one of my people just about your trading goals and see what's good for you, let us know. Like we'll give you a call. You know, we kind of got like kind of some stuff that we kind of chat with people about to see like what your goals are. You know, see where you want to go with things, swing trading, day trade, and you know we can come up with a good program for you guys. As always, I appreciate it. Does anybody have any last questions to ask? Going once. Going twice. So, adios, muchachos. Alex Leonis, what's up? Long time no see. Good. Guys, let me know. You got my phone number. You let me know if you need anything, all right? Peace.